What up, everybody? What up? It is Sir Swifty. We are here for the PM Alpha session, and today we have something really cool to make this a little more fun and more of a knowledge bomb for people. So we thought we'd start bringing on special guests and talk crypto, what's been going on in the markets. Today I got WickShotWilz. He is the TA mastermind in my print shop group. This guy, through my first year of crypto, is a really big guide. Taught me how to hodl through the dips, how to buy the lows or buy the highs and sell the lows, right? But so we thought we'd bring him on, start talking about what's been going on in the market. He's like the perfect guest for today because I've been working on this video, like crypto one-on-one video, helping people avoid some of the common crypto scams that got me for like 10 grand in my first year. And Will here kind of helped me through that, taught me that we don't take L's, we learn lessons. We got Thunder. What up, dude? So while I'm playing, we're gonna kind of be chatting. So, WickShot, why don't you tell everybody about yourself, what you do, and your crypto group?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you for having me on this call. Absolutely. I appreciate the exposure as well as, just your friendship as well as just the print shop as a whole. My name is Jason, aka WickShotWilz, and in a lot of Discord spaces, I'm known as Abundant. My name, I am a cryptocurrency educator. I've been doing this for only a couple of years now, but I fully dedicated myself to this space. I have over 400 students that I help teach in cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, Web3 development, as well as NFTs and what they can do for you. And I also recently started a company that helps people called Metal Launchers that helps NFT projects launch and get off the ground. We provide Discord moderation, we provide community engagement, we provide ERC contract, smart contract development, we provide website design, and so on and so forth. We have a lot to offer. A team of over 30 individuals, and we're really just trying to get ourselves out there, as well as continue to educate the masses on how to get into crypto. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, let me share this.
Yeah, so this week, the markets were going kind of sideways, right?
Yeah, we've been having a pretty, I don't want to say weird market. This week, we've had a very bearish, I don't want to say bullish week. I'll say we had a nice little retracement. Overall, when we're studying the markets and we're really trying to understand where the markets are going, and I don't want to make this too, extenuating or too complicated for anyone who may be a novice in the call or may not fully understand. But I do want to let you know that the markets are controlled by supply and demand at that end, right? We've had a very bullish week. We've had a relatively bullish week considering what we've been having the past few. I know a lot of times we've been focused. A lot of times people are looking at the markets and looking at, buy the fear, sell the greed, right? And usually that goes with selling the news. This week we had a lot of positive news, but we also had a bigger amount of negative news come out into the market, and it still continued to push price to the upside. So what will happen this week might be actually pretty nice to see, but it all depends on a few things. So this week, we had the infrastructure bills come out. Not come out, but we had the infrastructure bills get talked about. We had XRP, emails. We had emails start to get talked about by the SEC as the judges are ruling that they need to actually do something about XRP. Otherwise, we're not going to get to the point where the market will, or otherwise they're going to throw out the case at the end of the day. And the SEC, if you have been following the XRP case, the SEC doesn't really have much on them. I mean, hell, if Tether's going to get out of their lawsuit, why wouldn't XRP, right? And for those of you who don't know, Tether is the stable coin, USDT, that has just been printing money as much as the the Federal Reserve has. So once again, welcome to this call, and let's get on to what is actually going on in the markets.
So I'm gonna interject since we're talking about that right there. So now, what do you think the XRP case, the effect of them winning or losing is going to have? You know, for the people that don't really know what's going on, what do you think that's going to have as an effect to the rest of the markets?
To be honest, I think that would be a huge catalyst for the rest of the markets to actually instill some faith. You know, I know a lot of people have looked at the XRP lawsuit, and you know, even if they don't know, most people don't know what's going on with the XRP lawsuit. Most people just hear about it and say, oh, if they support crypto, they're like, oh, I'm with XRP. If they're against crypto, they're like, oh, well, they're doing shady shit. But at the end of the day, what really matters is what evidence do they have, and what are they actually doing what are they actually involved with in the markets. I think that since the SEC doesn't really have anything on XRP for doing anything technically illegal, they really are going to get off. And I feel like them holding back the amount of volume that has been attempted to be pushed into the market, whether it's with the delistings from Coinbase, Kraken, and other services, as well as from trading platforms, I think this will be a huge amount of volume that will push into the markets and XRP, and I think it will cause a catalyst for the rest of the markets to follow.
Cool. That's what I like to hear.
Me too. Especially
Awesome.
as someone that's heavily invested in XRP.
Yeah, I got some myself. It was a little bit challenging to get, but I made it work. All right, cool. And then we talked a little bit about the SEC stuff. Let's look at what we were looking at this past week. Why don't you want to start with Bitcoin, the Big Daddy Bitcoin?
Absolutely, why not? So this week we really had quite an interesting week. You know, price action was relatively bullish. You know, we had to come back and fill into this imbalance. If you don't know what an imbalance is, an imbalance is imbalanced price action, aka an area where volume is massively pushed into the market and it hasn't been mitigated, aka relieved from the pressure that is there. What we need to see always in the market, these are like windows, right? Whenever a window is open, especially when cold air is there, because it's definitely cold as hell on the East Coast. Whenever cold air is there, we need to close the window. This is relieving the pressure, aka mitigation. So what would happen this week? After a huge, massive area to the downside, which we'll highlight, right? This is called where imbalance was resting, aka an IPA. We had to come back and relieve this pressure at least a little bit. Same thing happened up here. We came back, relieved with this wick into the market. For further example, same thing happened here. We came back and closed the window. Same thing happened in here. We came back and closed the window to the upside. And same thing that happened continuously throughout the markets is this price action get mitigated out. So this week was all that needed to happen, was price continue back to the upside after creating a massive amount of liquidity to the downside. Now, a lot of people have been wondering, you know, why is price action continuing to sink? Well, this all has to do everything with structure, right? For those of you who don't know, structure always moves in a bullish or a bearish trend. Now, what we're looking for in these bearish trends and bullish trends are the retracements, right? These is buying the dip, as everyone loves to do. But unfortunately, what people don't realize is what they should be looking for is the areas within the previous retracements, right? They should be looking for the last leg before the expansion. And we'll go into that a little bit more, but overall, let's talk about what happened this week.
Is that because there's typically like a little more support in those spots?
Exactly. And that's the thing. There's a little more because of the massive amounts of imbalance, which needs to be mitigated out when pressure actually subsides. So for instance, just like you said with the support and resistance, we have areas up here that have yet to be mitigated out. Just because it hasn't been doesn't mean it won't be. It just means that the market has yet to come back and actually take out that area of resistance, of volume in the market before continuing to the downside. Finding valid structure is really what you need to do. And I'm not going to go too deeply into what structure is as a whole and how to find valid structure. If you'd like to, you can always message me on the side. But remember, finding valid structure is as simple as finding lower lows and lower highs, or higher highs and higher lows. And it's as simple as that. But let's start with what happened this week. For me, I love to use the weekly and daily, obviously, and monthly for obvious higher time frame analysis. Most people don't use the 8-hour or the 2-hour, but for me, this is a good estimation of what mid time frame management is what we're looking for. So in the midterm, we are looking for low, high, low, and then we broke structure, right? Because each trend must follow a legitimate structure. And in this sense, we had low, we had high, we had lower low, and then overall, we broke that structure to the upside right here, and then continued up. So now we created a low, a high, a new low, but we are ranging in the market. What I will say is, your trend is your friend. Overall, you should not be looking for buys in a bearish market. That doesn't make sense to me. That shouldn't make sense to you, in my opinion.
So a lot of traders right now, they're kind of just waiting to see it break structure to the upside to get back in, right?
Exactly. And they're looking for patterns in the market that'll help them and confirm for them that this is going to happen. For me, it depends. Actually, it depends what type of trader too you are. You know, I know a lot. When I first started trading, well, a little over 2 years ago, I was a scalper. You know, I love to do smaller time frame analysis. I'd work on the 15-second, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, get in and then get out. Over time, I developed my day trading sense. This is when I started to work on the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour, and the 4 hour. And then over time, I realized I didn't need just that. I could work on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. And these are called swing traders, right? Okay. And these swing traders, though daily, weekly, and monthly, this is where institutions come in. Because institutions are constantly pushing money into the market on these time frames. They're playing the long game. They're not playing the short game for you. So this is something to remember. Institutions will always push liquidity in large market caps and mid market caps. This is when you have market caps that are $1 billion to $10 billion US dollar in the mid cap, and large cap, which is more than $10 billion. Did you know that only 21 coins out of all the coins out there, whether you're invested into Floki, or whether you're invested into Bezoge, or whether you're invested into Bitcoin or Ethereum, it all depends on the market cap with how much money is being pushed in the market, but more so what institutions are trading in the market, what partnerships do they have. So the more money that's pushed in the market by bigger partnerships like Visa or you know TD or just these banks in entirety, whether it's of course I'm drawing a blank now, but regardless, these institutions that are pushing money into the markets, they obviously have more capital to push in. So they're focused more on the capital that they can push in. This is why it's so hard for a coin that is a small cap to get into a mid cap coin, because it takes a lot of partnerships as well as a lot of liquidity. So 21 coins out of the entire market, 21, 22, are large cap coins. This is over $10 billion USD, right?
That's where we want Bezoge to go. 10 billion.
Is absolutely where Bezoge will go. There's no doubt in my mind, especially with what's going on in their video game, especially with what's going on with their community, as well as how they're developing their token and their company to be the best it can be. And mid cap, $1 to $10 billion USD. Did you know there's only 9 out of the entire setup? There's only 78 coins or so that are actually a mid-cap coin. This means that institutions with the most liquidity, which means these are the most viable, are actually inside of the mid and large cap. Only less than 100 coins, and yet Bezoge has been steadily climbing to these levels. So it's definitely something you should keep in mind when investing, in small caps are definitely great coins to get into when they have great utility. And what does great utility entail? It entails things. It entails communities. It entails what are they working with? Who are they working with? What products are they coming out with? What is their team doing? Are they transparent? And do they have great people like Sir Swifty doing streams for you guys on a regular?
Shameless plug.
So let's get back to Bitcoin a little bit since I gave you that quick breakdown, right? We had low, we had high, we had low, we broke structure and moved to the upside, right? Creating these imbalances in the market that need to be filled. And look what happens. We create low, we create high, we create low, we create high. We sweep liquidity, but we also break structure. And remember, liquidity is just resting money in the market where buys or sells are resting. This is where your average trader is, but this is also what institutions are targeting. So what am I anticipating for this week, since we are seeing some more bearish price action? Well, if we look at it from a top-down analysis, right? Overall, we had high, we had low, and we had high. All of this, internal liquidity. If we're considering the previous leg up, right? We must move and accumulate is simply this here. When we break structure to the upside and move back in a bullish direction, we regularly will accumulate between the 50% and the 80% retracement area. And institutions, they target this liquidity because they know that many traders are targeting these double bottoms or the double tops or the triple tops or whatever, or the triangle patterns, flag patterns, whatever you want to call them. Institutions are targeting them, and it's something to keep in mind when trading.
So is that like in a game of chess, they're a level ahead because they know that this is where most people trade off of?
Exactly.
So they're trading against you, right?
Exactly. And 65% of the market, especially when it comes to trading, especially when it comes to trading in general, is dealing with institutions. About 30% dealing with, not 30%, about 25% dealing with hedge funds. And then you have the rest of the percentage, which is only 10 to 15%, trading retail money. This is like me. This is like regular people out and about. The only difference is retail traders use the same patterns and they don't trade like institutions. What we do in my company, what we do at Abundant Capital, the mentorship group I'm a part of, we teach you how to trade like institutions and hedge funds that are targeting these retail traders, right? And this is one thing that I want you to keep in mind. This coming week, what I'd like to see, since we are following the trend is our friend, I'd like to see a little more bearish price action. Overall, on a daily perspective, we are gaining volume in the market, right? In a weekly perspective, we're lessening the amount of volume in the market that has been presenting for us a difficult time. But if we can get this continued bullish volume in the market, let's use the smaller time frames to confirm this.
Now, sorry to interrupt you here.
No,
so what I heard on the long term, we've kind of been trading in, what is it? I think it was a downward triangle pattern.
Yes.
So a lot of people are expecting or hoping that, because we're kind of approaching like a make it or break it spot for Bitcoin, right? So, people were talking about the, trading in that channel. If we go below that channel, it's kind of like a scary situation. Would you agree with that?
I would say it becomes a little more I wouldn't say it becomes uncertain. I will say though, it presents a definite issue for a lot of retail traders, because overall, people were targeting the previous supply area, right? The previous area where institutions bought in. El Salvador's initial buy, Apple's initial buy, and a ton of grayscale Bitcoin trusts that actually bought more in. If we continue to sink below, that personally, I'm okay with it. Why? Because we need to clear liquidity. We don't need to, but it'd be nice to clear liquidity and then continue back to the upside. Overall, price action will do what it wants to do. But this is why following structure is so keen. Okay? This is why following structure is so clear. Overall, we had, remember what I showed before, accumulation. We created low, we created high, created lower low, and then we broke structure. Overall, this is solid accumulation to the upside. This isn't guaranteed. This is only on the 8 hour. But what I will say is we have continued to do so on smaller time frames. And as we continue to do so, I would like to see us potentially sweep some more liquidity, come down, and accumulate back to the upside. As of right now, that descending triangle people are talking about, yeah, it does look pretty scary. But overall, when you look at the grand scheme of things, price action looks pretty healthy right now. I'd much rather see, but I personally bought more here, I personally bought more here, and I personally bought more here. But that does not mean that this is the only places where I see price action going. Dollar cost average your positions in. I definitely recommend you to get in before you I definitely recommend you to get in before you lose out.
Cool. Now, I was gonna bring something up. It slipped my mind. It'll come back to me. Keep going.
Now on to Ethereum, everybody's favorite friend. Ethereum is an interesting area, what I will say. Remember that what I was talking about imbalance before, right?
Yep.
IPAs. Notice how we came in, filled this IPA, moved below the 50% to 80% of the previous leg, and then accumulated out right where we anticipated. Well, right where me and my students anticipated. We had low, we had high, we had low, we had high, we had low, and we broke structure to the upside. And then notice what happened. We came back in, filled another imbalance resting in the market, and have continued, due to low amounts of volume, back to the upside. So as of right now, we are in a bullish market on the midterm, not on the higher time frames, which is what most people are concerned about, but in the midterm, in the day trading sense. I would anticipate.
Do you think? This is what I was going to say before. Do you think like the institutions are like basically on vacation right now? Like they got their profits and they're just kind of sitting there chilling, waiting, or do you think they're sinking their money in as well right now?
What I'd say is, I think that the institute, of course I can't say what the institutions are doing or what they are thinking about, but I can say that I started in the foreign exchange market. Foreign exchange market, you do not have access to order books, but what you do have access to in crypto is the order books. And one thing that doesn't lie is the money that's always flowing in. And right now there is a ton of money flowing into USD Tether to then push into the markets. No one buys that much to USD Tether, and I'm talking about hundreds of millions, if not billions, dollars of USD Tether. No one buys that with no intention of buying anything else.
All right, so what you're saying by that, and I did hear about that, they're not selling out of their coins or tokens into USDT. They are just straight up accumulating USDT to make moves.
Biggest thing that they love to do is hedge their positions, and right now they're hedging them all the way to the upside.
So I had another question on Tether. So do like a lot of leverage traders, they take kind of their loans in Tether, right? So like is a lot of like that Tether money somebody actually has, or is it more like something that they're taking a loan out for like some type of leverage position?
So with financing and lending, the one thing I will say is that that money has to be there. Don't get me wrong, USD Tether does, print money on a regular basis, just like the Federal Reserve does in many respects. But the difference is when it comes to loans as well as financing, something that I do for, making sure I can just maneuver, especially during tax season, is that that money has to be somewhere. Someone has to be holding it for you to be able to take a loan or lend off of their account, or lend in general for more money off of your collateral. So I assume, in my opinion, that there is a ton of money sitting in those lending programs for people to be able to get ready to buy the dip for. And by people, I mean institutions and hedge funds.
Cool, yeah, because I know banks will sometimes they'll lend out like 2 to 1, right? The leverage ratio.
Exactly.
So I was wondering, is the printing of all this Tether, is that what, a good chance that is? But that's cool. That definitely shed some light, some cool stuff I didn't know. Yeah, so I'm excited. I hope they get their money in here quick.
I hope they do too, because I know for me, I've been waiting for this since December. Or not December, since honestly, since the July issues when I first joined the print shop. I've been waiting for price action to just start going up, and I feel like no matter how much of a percentage gain we have, it's never enough. Even if we go back up 50, 60%, still not enough. If we go back up another 120%, still not enough.
More pamp.
I need more pamp.
So I was actually, my mom sent me something, it was like some psychic lady, and she's like, oh, you gotta see what they said about Virgo, because we were talking, and they said it like perfectly. They're like, you're trying to go somewhere, and I guess Bitcoin's a Virgo, because it said you're trying to go somewhere, but it's like your foot is nailed to the floor, and I feel like that's kind of what Bitcoin's doing.
And that makes sense, especially considering when you look at the entire market cap of cryptocurrency. If those of you watching, if you take a look at this chart right now, this is the entire crypto market cap. This is what we determine to see how price action will continue to the upside, as well as how we determine what will happen in the markets as far as market cap goes. Right now, there's heavy resistance, and people are looking at, $2 trillion area to see that price action will continue to the upside. This is a huge area for them. But what I'm anticipating personally, even if we don't get the sweep into the IPA, I will love to see that price action continues to the upside. We are seeing the same bullish formation as we are on Ethereum, as we are on Bitcoin. This is showing me that we need to have this price action continue to the upside. Even if we do get another little retracement tomorrow down to 1.96 trillion, even if we do get a little retracement tomorrow on Ethereum down to 3,150, it's content. Even if we do on Bitcoin get a nice little retracement down to, and remember, since Bitcoin has the dominance right now, Bitcoin dominance at a 39 percentile, even if we do get that drop right now, I will anticipate us to still continue going to the upside. It's just about making sure that you are anticipating the correct things. For instance, we saw Bitcoin, just as I said before, accumulation, distribution. We had low, we had high. We had low, we broke structure, low, high, low, broke structure here, created a new formation, and now we're distributing out. This particularly could have been a great trade for anyone who wanted to participate in the markets doing futures trading. And if you're not apt on futures trading, I definitely urge you to get into it, but definitely take your time, learn the skill set, and practice as much as you can doing paper trading before anything, because it is a dangerous skill set and people get very risky with their leverage as well as with their positions.
So what do you recommend if somebody wanted to practice trading without actually doing it with real money so that they can learn? Is there a certain app that you prefer, or exchange that offers that?
So this is the beautiful, that's a great question. And there's two types of main trading. There's margin trading. Well, there's a bunch of types of trading. But for this, I will say there's margin trading as well as futures trading that you should get into. Now, you can do margin trading to practice your analysis, and you can create demo accounts on things I've personally used, or Osprey FX, as well as, FX Sway, or, Hugo's Way, just a basic one. I don't particularly use Hugo's Way that much anymore. But if you're trying to get into futures trading, there's no demo accounts per se. There are on the ones I've mentioned previously, but on these ones right here, you can even just come to TradingView. I definitely I personally have the premium account for TradingView. Definitely worth it. Helps me be able to keep my entire laundry list of cryptos. But even if you don't get that, what I recommend is getting the paper trading fund right here. You can be able to trade on any of these markets as you want and as you'd like, without risking any real money, but definitely trading within live markets. It's something I always recommend to people who are trying to get involved in crypto or trying to get involved in the trading space, whether it's Forex, ETFs, or crypto. And you can do stocks here as well if you'd like, without actually risking any money. And that's the beautiful part about it.
Cool. Yeah, you were talking about the overall global market cap, and that's definitely like one of the top things that I like to look at, on a daily basis. And I remember seeing it go to like, what was it, 2.65 trillion at the top. And then, but it's kind of hovering between like 1.9 and 2.1 pretty steadily, right? Is that what you're seeing? I can't look at the chart here while I'm
no, it's okay.
jumping around.
Right now it's floating between, it's at $2 trillion right now, floating between 1.9, about 1.95 and 2.1. Good man.
Yeah, I learned from the best. Yeah, I definitely a good day I know is when it's over that too. And over the past couple of days, it was going up like 1% a day, which was really cool to see after, that big drop and everybody starting to get, a lot of FUD. That fear levels were like crazy levels, crazy low, right?
We're seeing extreme fear in the market right now. And like I said at the beginning, buy the fear, sell the greed. At the end of the day, you don't want to buy in a bullish market, you want to sell in a bullish market. And most people, that's their real big issue, is that they tend to want to hold and hold and hold without getting rid of or without taking any profits. Always follow. It's a good thing to follow the 80-20 rule, but follow your plan, whichever one it is. But if you don't have a plan, make a plan, please. It'll benefit you in the end. I truly believe that.
Yeah, the hardest part is taking the emotion out, having a plan and then sticking to it, and like not waiting out a little bit longer. So, I mean, there's some benefits to trading. Holding's great, especially in solid projects like this. There's benefits to trading too. Increasing your positions, being able to get a little bit of a paycheck. So definitely a good skill to have.
Exactly. It's something I always urge to people, and something for myself. I always keep on the top of my screen is do not fear. Like, you'll see this on almost every one of my charts that I actually trade with. Is second thing, do not fear. Do not fear losing money. Do not fear being wrong. Do not fear missing out, and do not fear leaving money on the table. At the end of the day, fear is just trading is just 100. Trading is 90% your emotional bias and your psychology, rather than anything else. The other 10% is technical, fundamental, or quantitative analysis. Make sure that you're keeping your emotions in check, and then move from there. And that's how we can go about things the correct way.
Yeah, because you got to look at things because stuff can only go up for so long, and unless we get this crazy mass adoption where everybody just we go from 5% of people in crypto to 85%, right? It can only go up so high. So at some point you're going to have to sell some of your certain cryptocurrencies. But for those of you that are holders in the long run, if you stick to some of the more solid projects, but just don't hold to the grave. At some point you got to look at it's important to look at the market cap and trading volume to really see the lifeblood left in projects. But your BTC or ETH, Bazoge's just getting warmed up.
And that's the thing, and that's what people need to realize, is that 100% every coin has to start somewhere. Even right here, you'll know that Bitcoin started extremely low. It didn't start at $60,000. We had to get there, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't want to accept. But as mass adoption comes in, as utility provides through, we'll continue to see that the market will flow in the direction that it was always anticipated to. And that's one thing that I'm so excited for, especially in this crypto space. And you know, there's something that I do want to make a point to say, is that right now this dip would not be as severe if it wasn't for NFTs. Does that mean I hate NFTs? No. It's the same thing with in July or in April, May, and July, or April, May, and June, when we saw crypto take that heavy dive to the downside at around $30,000. A lot of it, we could have actually survived that a lot easier if you didn't put too much money into, you know, these terrible coins, these scam coins. And I'm sure you should look forward to Swifty's video coming out very soon about how to avoid these scam coins, because I know myself, I've been personally scammed out of over $50,000. I know how it feels to lose money. I know how it feels to lose money in the markets. We all do. It happens, especially in the crypto space, but it's about being safe with your investments, and definitely look forward to his video. I don't want to give away too much information about what's going to be in his video, but I definitely urge you guys to look forward to it.
Yeah, don't take L's, take lessons, and hopefully you learn the lessons before your profile's your profile's completely wrecked. Portfolio was the word I was looking at. Portfolio gets wrecked. My buddy Wolfman, he's in the chat. You know, he's talking about, you know, one thing to remind people that are getting into trading, depending on where you live, you know, it's taxable. So, always consult and, you know, kind of know the tax side of the actions you're taking. Real cool for those of you that are using Coinbase. Coinbase now has a beta tax software. So if you access the desktop browser in your Coinbase account, it'll kind of tell you your realized gains, or at least get you closer to figuring that out so you can pay your slice of the pie. And Jason was asking about the trading software. That trading software is TradingView. That is one of the most popular trading software or charting softwares, I should say. Like, I would say that a lot of newer people are used to like DEX tools, and a lot of the veterans, you know, that's, you know, TradingView is definitely like the WordPress.com versus WordPress.org type stuff.
What I will say, especially about TradingView, I love TradingView.com. I've been using it ever since I started trading, and even though I do use DEX tools on a regular basis, I mainly use DEX tools and other programs for if I don't have them available on TradingView, because I do pay a hefty fee for the premium for TradingView, but every dollar I spend on it is worth it because I get every dollar out of it. I think TradingView probably is one of the most top-notch websites as well as softwares you can use for when it comes to mid-cap, large-cap, and most small-cap cryptos, as well as stocks, index funds, foreign exchange currencies, whatever you're really into. I think it's a great place to really get into anything. And if you ever need any help learning how to do it, you can always message me directly at WickShotWilz on Telegram. I'll drop my link tree for you guys.
I definitely want to have kind of like a DEX Tools 101 or TradingView 101 video with you on the channel one day. We'll work that out. We'll make that happen.
Absolutely. You know, and it's funny because it's really not. TradingView, even though it's a great, thing to use, it's not as simple to set up. A lot of people, they get into it and they're just like, I don't know what to do here. It's just
there's so many options. Yeah, like you have people talking about the RSIs, you know, the daily, weekly candles. You know, there's so much, and I know, like I said, a lot of people on this channel are fairly new and still learning that stuff. But it's it's pretty important to understand what you're looking at. What kind of are the better indicators, and what are kind of like Jason said before, what indicators do the institutions use to trade against you? Like, what do they teach you so that you trade their way, so that they can trade against that, like a game of chess?
And that's exactly it. When you first come to TradingView, you'll look at the market just like this. There'll be red and green candles everywhere. You'll have the 8 EMA, I'm pretty sure, on the chart, and you'll just
fibs, crosses, EMAs,
be stuck in a place where what you really want to do, and we can plan it out. But overall, you really want to make sure that your screen is custom to how you feel, right? So whether it's me feeling like I want to trade like this, or whether it's my theme that I really want to trade like this, it's however I'm feeling at the end of the day. Because you don't want to go into a market that you are uncomfortable with the things that you're going to be looking at on a regular basis. It doesn't make sense to me. You know, why people will go into the markets and leave, you know, have an uncomfortability to it. For me, I think I spend a good amount of time in the charts, and something I learned early on was to make sure I'm comfortable where I'm at, no matter where I am. So I definitely urge you to do the same, no matter which type of chart you use.
Cool. So we were chatting about ETH kind of in the long term, kind of following. What do you think? Is it going to break away from Bitcoin in this cycle, or is it going to take another cycle or two?
I think it's going to take another cycle or two to really break away. You know, the biggest thing with biggest thing right now is the Bitcoin dominance chart. I will say we've had quite a rough run at everything, especially considering where price action has moved in the past week. We have continued to start to slow down to sweep liquidity to the downside and really get this move down. I personally would like to see a huge bullish run come in the coming weeks, probably to get Bitcoin dominance back up into the 45s, you know, maybe the 44s, but potentially even the 50s to fill some imbalance up here. But overall, realistically, I see the 45s before continuing back to the downside. And then who knows, by the time we get down into the 30s, even deeper, maybe we'll actually have that flippening that we've also been talking about. And oh God, I'm looking forward to when Ethereum goes to the proof of stake network.
Yeah, so for the noobs in the chat, you know, Big Daddy Bitcoin kind of controls the rest of the markets. You know, Ethereum is, you know, number two. It's making its way. It's trying to kind of break away and do its own thing. So basically, if you look at an Ethereum chart and a Bitcoin chart, they make a lot of similar moves, or, you know, there's similar price action. And hopefully, you know, Ethereum kind of breaks away from that, because like Bezoge, which is an ERC20 token, if Ethereum goes down, you know, you're going to see that, you know, unless there's some extra catalysts, you know, you're going to see kind of the same price action between your Ethereum and your ERC20 tokens, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting part about it, is once we actually start to see coins get into those market caps, like we were talking about before, once Bezoge gets into that mid market cap, we're going to start to see it break away more also from Ethereum, and then we'll have like a huge bias for Bezoge to just take over the market entirely, especially when it comes to NFTs and metaverse development.
Yeah,
I think that they really have upcoming events.
When I'm looking at performance, you know, I always like to look at I'll look at Ethereum compared to Bezoge. So if Bezoge is down 4%, but Ethereum is down 10%, technically, you know, we're moving solid. We're gaining some traction. So something to consider when you're looking at your charts, and, you know, just be in front. Why is this down? Always look back to Ethereum and Bitcoin to see if it's that, or if it's something happening within the we'll call it the community or the ecosystem itself.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think I remember there was a rumor about Chainlink. I'm pretty sure. I think it was in the chart recently. They had a rumor where, you know, I think it was someone was saying that they were going to be working with Walmart or something about, you know, things going to be happening, and it pumped price up exponentially. And then when people found out it was juice, it really just pushed price to the downside. Even if I think Ethereum was actually in a bearish decline at that time, and it pumped Chainlink and then crashed it back down to the low end. Really, you know, you just need to make sure. We always need to make sure that our investments are taken care of. But make sure you don't buy into fake news. You may always make sure it's verified sources, as well as coming directly from the sources themselves, so that you can capitalize the markets.
Always double check your sources. Look for the secure kind of simple on websites, making sure, you know, like Telegram links. I never take a Telegram link unless it's from the direct website. That's one of the ways, you know, one of the things I'm going to be talking about in that upcoming video.
No, it's definitely something to talk about, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people going through a lot of BS out there. You know, the markets are an unforgivable place, and it's definitely a place that you need to be educated about what you are actually investing into, as well as what you are putting your money into. At the end of the day, it's an investment, and you don't want to lose your investment. Just don't put your house on it, please.
Yeah, I got wrecked on the, was it Efinity pre-launch? We had the that wrong Telegram link, and they got me for an ETH. They got me. So always, double check your links.
I'm still waiting for the. I'm still wondering where my 2 Ethereum went on that pre-sale. I still don't know, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Another great project, Efinity. You know, it's gonna be.
Yes.
Yeah, you have Efinity Engine and Engine Starter. It's a solid, you know, metaverse gaming ecosystem. They're gonna be huge on NFTs.
Huge platforms. You know, Engine especially. A couple other huge platforms to look for. Gala being one of them. Townstar, another one. You really have so much to offer for in the metaverse coming, but it's really about sticking with what works. You know, you don't want to get into anything that you think, oh well, this could be great. Well, what are they actually providing? This is why I really want to urge you guys to look into projects with utility, with real utility behind it, not something that is saying, oh well, once we get funding, we'll do this.
No more e-news.
No more Enos.
No more Enos. There's only one Enu.
I'm sick of all the Enus.
one true Enu.
That's pretty funny.
No, it's funny because, you know, we always are looking for the next coin that is going to make us a millionaire, but no one wants to look for the next, make us a million, that is going to make us a millionaire in the next year. No one wants to look for the next coin that is going to make us a millionaire in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
That's one reason why I'm so content just sitting with the Doge, still up considerably.
Yeah, I'm streaming right now.
That's what I'm saying. It's a fantastic coin, and that's one reason. Like I love working with the Doge community, because they have so much to offer, as well as in the utility. They have great partnerships, fantastic tokenomics, great NFTs, and only more to come. Especially looking forward to the Speed Doji.
Speed Soja, let us in. Yeah, so ETH, you think it is just as healthy as Bitcoin? You're seeing the right kind of price action you like to see?
Yes. I personally would really like to see price action maybe take a little bit of a downside turn over the next couple of days, maybe let's say Sunday the 16th. I will say most likely by the 18th or 19th, we should see price action within my area between 310 to 320 to 3200. Oh well, 3100 to 3200. I would like to see price action accumulate for the actual video for the actual picture of it. We'll put this here. All right. I would like to see us accumulate and continue back to the upside. So what exactly am I looking for? Just for a quick look around, whether it happens here or whether it happens here. That's called accumulation, right? We're looking for price action to mitigate in many respects the coordinated areas. For when we get up here. As soon as you see accumulation, as well as the gain of volume, that's when you buy in. Right now we're moving sideways. Don't fall flat in the market, guys. It will not benefit you in the long run to buy in now when it's moving sideways. It will definitely not benefit you to sell right now either, because I'm sure you're getting emotional. I'm sure you're wondering, When will it go back up? It will go back up as long as you hodl. As long as you hodl, and new money will come in. Even if you left this all up to the institutions, it would still go up. Why? Because there's too much money to mess around in this market. And that's what I will say. Definitely top picks that I'm looking at for the next coming months. Excuse me.
There you go.
Aside from metaverse projects as well as NFT projects, the best thing I would look forward to this month, in my opinion, aside from the almighty Doge, I will say I'd look at Cardano to finally make its move to the upside, which it is doing right now. 5% on the day. Fantastic, especially after it's been doing relatively nothing. But notice how it sweep liquidity, pushed to the downside, and then continued back up. I would look for Quant to start making its way up. If you don't know Quant or you have never invested in Quant, I definitely urge you to research and look into what they are providing in the markets, as well as what they are going to, as well as what they are getting into. I urge you, because honestly, this is a coin that has the potential to become a 5-figure coin with the network that it's actually providing and the hash rate providing. And the final coin I will say that you should look into for the following week is to definitely load up on some more XRP or Tezos. Huge coins, great potential, as well as a backing that has no other. I urge you to look into it. Do your own research, but always make sure your research is accurate. Don't take L's, take lessons, guys.
There it is. Let's wrap it up and take a look at the Bezoge chat and see what we think of that.
Yes, let's get to it.
Always good to diversify.
No, 100%. And that's one thing, like, a lot of people really don't understand is they'll focus on one particular, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with focusing on one particular asset. We always want to have a nice little diverse portfolio of anything. My favorite two types of coins to get into are entertainment coins as well as problem solving coins. So for me, let's look into it. So far, we've had some very nice, healthy price action, especially if we consider going on in the market right now. We remember what we talked about earlier. We had low, we had high, we had low, and now we're coming up for a new high. But what I will say is this is on the daily time frame. Let's look at it on the 4-hour, where we already had breaks of structure. Low, high, low, high, low. We broke high, came back down to mitigate into imbalanced price action right here. We mitigated down, touched into this area, and then continued to the upside. I currently would anticipate price action to come back down and do the same thing we just did and fill this IPA to then continue to the upside. Right now, we have a lot of great potential for Bezoge. You see that people are selling, but I don't know why, because I'm personally looking, and I don't mind, because that's personally going to give me a chance to buy more at the dip. I urge you guys to definitely take precedence over these two areas where you potentially can see Bezoge take a huge upside turn, especially considering how Ethereum and Bitcoin are priming for the upside, for that reversal to the upside. Get ready for the expansion, guys. It's going to be huge.
Yeah. So do you own a Bezoge?
I still have yet to buy one, man.
Oh, we gotta get you on one.
I gotta just raise the floor at this point.
That's it. We gotta send it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's funny because it's funny. Someone offered me 2 Bezoges for one of my NFTs today, and I've yet to message them back. So I might just take up that offer, but I need to get the lowdown on what's the best ones to buy first.
Yeah. So, it depends where you think you'll spend your time, right, in the different lands. Speed Zoja is going to be where it's at for me, and then in the battle world, Zerg Zoja. So, I'm looking at the combos. And I think I actually had somebody I don't know if they offered me to. Can somebody like send me an offer to buy their Bazoji? Can they offer up their Bazoji to me? Is that
I mean,
something that they can do?
on OpenSea?
Yeah.
That's strange. I've never heard of that.
I don't know if I think I'm imagining that. Ignore me. It's getting late.
Nah, it's okay, man. You know, it's funny because
Yeah. You know,
I've
you know what it was? Is I think I had one, and I had a Speed Zoji, Zerg Zoji, and you know, it was after one of my streams, and then somebody put an offer on the one that I had, and I was like, heck no, that's mine. So I was like, I know somebody's listening to me because they're trying to get my Speed Zoji.
I'm about to go try and buy yours right now.
Yeah.
First, I gotta find your wallet.
That's it. I spy.
No, but I definitely need to go buy some. It's definitely something on my to-do list. Right now, I've been so busy trying to get back into the markets because I took off trading from November, December, a little bit of October, just trying to wait for the market to cool down a bit.
You hear it? That's why the price action hasn't been good, because WickShotWilz hasn't been buying all the wicks. He's been off, but now he's back, and price action will continue.
Price action will continue, and you guys have my targets. You know what I'm looking for on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bazoge. Definitely urge you to take advantage of the position as well as what is to come in the markets.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it for me. You know, early to bed, early to rise.
Yes.
That's how we get stuff done. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here, sharing your knowledge. Tell everybody again where they can find you.
Guys, if you need to find me, you can follow me on IG at WickShotWilz, WickShotWilz, WickShotWilz. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. You can also DM me privately if you ever need any mentorship advice, as well as in-depth analysis on how to capitalize on the NFT space, metaverse space, or the cryptocurrency space, DeFi, or centralized. Feel free to hit me up, guys. Happy to be here. Happy to work with you. Thank you, Ryan, for having me on this page. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, man, make sure you give my man a follow, and if you like this and you want to see more of this stuff, please tell me in the comments. You know, I'm trying to make these streams a little more fun. I'm thinking about doing a cars and crypto video a week. Yeah, and Jason, you were talking about wanting to know what the best Bazoji is, so I'm actually in the process of putting together, that's my other video. So I got the Crypto 101 video trying to help people learn the basics, and then, you know, the Bazoge squad trying to help everybody learn about the game and, you know, kind of get up to, as it develops, get up to speed quick. So my other video is going to be like a overall, like, how to pick the best Bazoji for what you want to do, you know, the different control setups and different weapons and kind of how the breeds work. So definitely look for that as well. So yeah, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. I'm going to shut down the stream. Why don't you hang on for a second,